What is up, and I welcome each and every one of you back to a brand new Civ 6 tier list, or Civilization 6 tier list. Today we're going to be ranking the best science civs in the entire game. We're looking solely at a science victory and how effective their abilities are at reaching that victory. Really not much to say. It's a Civ 6 tier list. We're doing science this time. You guys have read the title. Let's get right into it with number 1, Germany, or Allemagne as in French. Or in Deutschland, as in German. I swear to God, English is the worst at saying Germany. It's just so basic compared to the other languages. But Germany over here, I'm going to put in A tier. I'm going to save S tier for the civs that are just absolutely, dominant. And that's only really going to be a few. Germany has the Hansa, which is absolutely incredible. It is just so massive. It gives you so much production. And with commercial hubs and aqueducts and all the trade routes you're going to be getting, you will easily be able to get monster production and science cities. The reason they're not S tier is they don't have a bonus directly to campus adjacency or anything like that, which is, I think, what you would need to make the S tier, in my opinion. Next up, we got Wilhelmina, who actually does have a bonus for adjacency, although I am going to put her in the A tier as well. Wilhelmina she's really good at a science victory with the adjacency she gets from rivers, but I mean, the thing is, she doesn't have really anything too big when it comes to production. You need both amazing production and science to go for a victory. I know she gets the adjacency with industrial zones as well, but the adjacency really isn't anything too massive, and it is an S tier material. It's still amazing though, don't get me wrong. Those bonuses are still incredible. That is why I have them in the A tier. Next up, we got Alexander. Alexander's going in, I think, the B tier. Again, this isn't taking into account any sort of early game domination and how that affects everything. It is solely their bonuses on how easily they get a science victory. You know what? Yeah, Alex, when he builds units, he gets science with his Bazooka Piety. It is so massive that early game you should not be building campuses. It should just be those units. The one thing that prevents him from going into the A and potentially even S tier is, again, no production towards science buildings later on. And number 2, you are going to need a lot of gold to keep building units, unless you're going to be deleting them right afterwards, which is also a viable strategy now that I think about it. We'll keep him at the top of the B tier for that. But yeah, the one thing keeping him down is he can't really spam the units too much later on because of gold requirements. After that, we got Chandragupta or Chandragupta. He is going in, I think, we'll put him in the D tier. He has bonuses towards growth with his unique thing, Stepwell. The Varu is really not going to help him at all. His unique ability is nothing in the way of science. Again, we're not taking into account, this Civ is good at domination, so we can get more cities, so we can get more science that way, because that's pretty much the domination tier list all over again. We're going for solely science. Chandragupta in the D tier. China is going in the C tier, I think. You know what? Yeah, I'll put him in the C tier. Again, the Eureka bonuses might seem nice, and that could be helpful. But number 1, you're not going to be getting too many of those extra with the Wonder bonus China has. It's just not going to be anything game-changing. And number 2, you're not really going to be able to get any of the late-game civics boosted. The ones that really need for a science victory. So 10% for every tech that's Eureka. If you can Eureka every single tech, which you probably can't even do half in most games, especially on the higher difficulties, you can make a case for him going in the A tier, but he really doesn't have anything in the way of production either, aside from maybe extra build slots, extra builder charges, but yeah, he's going to be in the C tier. Gorgo now, I'm going to put Gorgo in the... I want to put her in... F. She has no bonuses. She really has no bonuses towards any sort of science victory. I don't know about F tier. We'll put her in E tier. She doesn't have any debuffs towards it. She has extra... it's nothing for science. There's nothing to say. Gorgo has absolutely nothing going for her in the way of science. Next up, we got Trajan. Trajan is going in the B tier. The bath will allow him to grow larger than normal, and free monuments in every city will allow him to get natural philosophy earlier on. It'll allow him to get communism earlier on, which increases your science and production output in replacement of your food. No, never mind. That's just real-life communism. Yeah, Trajan is going to be in the B tier. Lots of good bonuses, and getting that communism early on is very helpful. Next up, we got Montezuma. Montezuma, I am going to put him in the high B tier ahead of Alexander. He can use builders to charge up the spaceport district. That really is more effective in theory, because a lot of the time, it's not your production that's the limiting factor. It is the science. You're usually going to be able to produce more buildings for science than you can research. The Eagle Warriors early on are helpful, but aside from that, really nothing except for using builders to use district charges, I guess, which is nice, but it isn't anything too great, so he's going to be in the B tier. Next up, we got Jfahrman. Jfahrman, I think, is also going to go in the B tier. We'll put him low B tier. The reason for that is he can grow a city super, super, super tall, and with his extra rivers and aqueducts and farms, that's going to give him more housing, going to give him more food. You get River Goddess, that's more amenities and housing. Growing cities tall, allowing him to build multiple districts is very helpful in a science game. He goes in the low B tier. After that, we got Pakacuti. He is going to go in the A tier, right under Wilhelmina, in my opinion. Another very, very nice civilization. Starting near mountains automatically gives you really good adjacency bonuses towards campuses, and probably about the same amount as Wilhelmina gets. And he can also work mountains, especially if you're in a mountain range and you get preserves. I'm actually going to put him ahead of Wilhelmina. If you get preserves in a mountain range, you're going to be able to get science and culture from those mountains. That is pretty damn massive. Also, he can grow super duper tall due to his unique abilities, and because of that, and the mountain start bias, and the preserve strategy, he is going to be in the mid A tier. Next up, we got Bulmus Teddy. Bulmus Teddy is again going to go in the low A tier under Wilhelmina, in my opinion. I'm not really going to base this on C tier being the average. It's really going to be on how good they are at science. In my opinion, Teddy, he just gets bonuses to science for every breathtaking tile near a mountain. That is so much early game science, and you also get culture from woods. All that science and culture allows you to get democracy earlier on, and allows you to absolutely steamroll the early game tech tree. I'm usually ahead even on deity, and that early game bonus can definitely help you win an easy late game victory. After that, we got Hungary. Hungary, I think, is going to go in the C tier, I think right above China. The only bonus he has to a science victory is getting extra envoys when levying units, so that's maybe helpful for a science city-state, and he also gets production when building districts across a river from him, although with a campus, you're not always going to be able to do that, because obviously you do want them near mountains, and those near mountains will give you extra science, and extra science is going to be needed. So really you have two abilities that you can somewhat make use of for a science victory. I'll put him in the C tier because of that, but no higher. Next up, we got a Minotaur. A Minotaur I'm also going to put in the C tier, above Hungary in my opinion. The Nubian Pyramid and your production bonus towards districts allows you to build campuses faster. That's pretty much the only bonus they have for that. The archers are nice. The unique ability is nice. Money from mines is nice, but that's really their only science ability. Next up, we got Kupe. Kupe, I think I'm going to put in the... He has no bonuses. He's really a culture type civ. I'll put him in the E tier because he has no bonuses I can think of at the top of my head. I'm not really too familiar with Kupe. I haven't played him in a long time, but I'm fairly certain he has no bonuses when it comes to science. Next up, Judriga. Judriga is going to go, she has an extra wildcard slot, so because of that, I think I'm going to put her in the D tier. Again, C tier is probably for guys who have like decent bonuses towards like a science victory. C tier. D tier is for guys who have bonuses towards something like food, and that can help science somewhat, I guess. Like, for example, Chandragupta's Stepwell. She's the same thing. You can easily get the early +2 great scientist point policy card, which could be helpful, but other than that, really nothing. She's more focused on encampments and holy sites, which I guess could give adjacency, but it's just Poland's not a good science civ. After that, Gandhi is going to be just like Chandragupta, and he's going to go in this tier. I'm going to put him a little higher because there's a chance you could get, like, why'd I put him higher? No reason. I guess you don't have to really worry about declarations of war earlier on because of war weariness, and also the extra faith from meeting civilizations is pretty nice. So maybe a hair above Chandragupta, but nothing too much more. Next up, we got Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa has no bonuses towards science. The one thing he has is his ability to get absolute bans, so I will put him in the high D tier because he can use his money to buy buildings and districts pretty fast. Actually, now that I think about it, it probably is more fitting for him to be in the low C tier. Next up, we got Tamar. Tamar is, I'm struggling to think. I guess she could get envoys for Science City-State, so that probably qualifies her for the D tier. I would rather have the Stepwells, though. I'll put Tamar in low D tier. Really, again, Science Victory is like the one victory type, in my opinion, where you can pretty much go with any civ because of how straightforward and easy it is. But Tamar has no bonuses. I can't really give it to her. Gilgabro now. Gilgabro is going to go in the B tier. I'll put him right above Alexander. His ziggurat is that good. 2 science from every ziggurat is absolutely massive. You'll be able to get great early game science, more reliable than Alexander's ability in my opinion, and definitely much more sustainable. Gilgabro, take out a few cities early on, build your ziggurats, and then boom, you are on pace for a massive science victory. After that, we got Scotland. Scotland is going in the A tier. I'm going to put him right. I'll put him right below Bulmus Teddy. Now, I know if everything breaks right, he could be S tier, if everything breaks right. But, I mean, number 1, his unique ability for extra production. You're really not going to be able to make use of that too much. Number 2, getting +5 amenities a city is going to be really, really challenging, even for someone like Scotland. So, we'll put him in the low A tier because of his abilities. You know, allowing you to get happy cities is more than enough of a bonus to put him near the A tier, and his potential ecstatic cities is definitely a cause for him to maybe even be in the S tier if he can get that. After that, we got Cleopatra. Cleopatra, I'm going to put her in the low D tier, I think right above Tamar. She has no bonuses, really. The only one I could think of is maybe production towards wonders in districts. I forgot that was also districts. Because of that, we'll put her right above Hungary. I feel like her ability to build campuses faster, it's near Hungary. She can put it wherever on the river. He has to put it across the river. So she does get the bonus a little bit, but she doesn't really have any bonuses towards science other than that. Next up, we got Pericles. Pericles is going to go, I think, I'm trying to think right now. Where do we put him? He doesn't have any, he gets bonuses towards the Acropolis and envoy building, so I think that alone should put him right where Mansa Musa is. He gets more envoys than Mansa Musa for sure, so let's put him above just because of his extra culture will also allow him to get a communism much, much earlier, so that kind of helps him out. Next up, it's Catherine de' Medici, Black Queen. Black Queen is probably going in the C tier again due to her spy. I'm going to put her actually right in the top. Why? Because her spy that you can get by castles and extra spy slots and diplomatic visibility allows you to go in, steal whatever technology boosts you need, and by the time you're done, you're going to have almost everything boosted and Eureka, which is definitely very, very helpful. Also, her chateaus will allow you to get communism earlier on, which is very nice as well. John Curtin is going to be our first S-tier civilization. The fact that you have outback stations and breathtaking tiles give you that much science production is just absolutely incredible. And if someone declares war on you, the production boost you could get is absolutely insane. But it, obviously, like Scotland, it isn't that reliable. It's more reliable than Scotland's, but not too reliable. Again, the fact that you can build districts and you can get the outback stations will give you good enough production and massive amounts of science to carry yourself to victory. Next up, we got Suleiman. Suleiman has absolutely nothing in the way of science. In fact, he actually has a debuff for science, in my opinion, because you're going to have to spend governor titles on Ibrahim instead of on your unique, instead of Pingala, who is the best science governor type. So because of that, he technically has a debuff. Again, this is straight science, so I'm going to put him in the F tier for a science victory. Again, if you want to play Suleiman, you're going to go domination most of the time. He has literally no... Actually, I forgot about the amenity bonus. Amenities are important, so I guess we'll put him in the D tier. You know what? We'll put him in the C tier because of that. We'll put him right above Tamar. It's more reliable than her ability. E tier is for people who don't have any bonuses to science whatsoever. Actually, she's probably like Pericles with extra envoys, huh? Gorgo's going to go higher, I think, because she could get culture and communism earlier on. So I think I'll put her... I think I'll put her actually near Pericles, because when I ranked her, I completely forgot about communism. Getting communism that earlier on and the Acropolis giving you extra envoys is actually a pretty big damn boost. Communism is so massive. 10% science, 0.6 production per population. It is so massive to have it earlier on, and because of that, she is going to go right under Pericles. And really quick, if you have enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's get back to the video. Next up, Japan. Japan's going in the A tier, I think. The fact that you can get... I'll put him right above Scotland. I feel like it's more reliable than him, but not as good as Teddy. You're going to be able to get great adjacency bonuses from both your everything, pretty much. Your factories are going to be good for production. Your science is going to be good, and just pretty much compacting your cities, getting double-digit science adjacency district thingy-majigs is pretty damn good. And yeah, A tier, not S tier, because again, it's really more of a jack of all trades. Nothing really too focused on his production in science. After that, Korea is going to be S tier above John Curtin. The fact that you can get +4 science from just building a Siawan, surround it with farms and mines to get food and extra science. And not only that, what people fail to realize is that Korea gets a base 4 science with her Siawan district. It has to be built on a hill. It gets a debuff when adjacent to another district, but if you're smart, like if you have half a brain cell, you really shouldn't be worried too much about the CO1 district being near any other districts. Just don't build districts near it. The other thing is the rationalism. Giving you 50% bonus to science in your city requires a campus with 4 science or 15 population in your city. Korea basically gets that in every single one of her cities because of the base science of the CO1. Getting rationalism, that is going to be such a big boon for you. And because of that, she is going to be in the high S tier. After that, we got Banza of the Congo. The extra early game relics are going to help a little bit. So I guess we'll put him in the... He really doesn't have any sort of things helping him. I'll put him in the low... I'll put him right under... He's right near Tamar, I think. Maybe right under Tamar. It doesn't matter. They're pretty much even. He has a bonus that you could feasibly use for a science victory. Getting relics, you know what? No, never mind. He's going to be above Kupe, but he's going to be in the E tier. He doesn't really have any bonuses to science or anything that could help him with science. Relics, I guess, could give him some food and production, but it's getting relics early game is pretty tough anyways, and that's more geared for a culture victory. After that, we got the Shaka Zulu. His Akandas now give extra science, so I guess that alone qualifies him for the D tier. He really can't go much higher than that. No bonuses towards any sort of science or anything. Yeah, he really doesn't have anything. The science is good though, so we will put him at the top of the D tier. 1 science from each Akanda is no joke, but it's actually a pretty decent joke. It's pretty funny. Maybe if you have 20 cities, that's only 20 science per turn from that. That's not going to change your game at all, but it is a bonus and it is better than the other bonuses, so I will put him in the high D tier. After that, we got Peter of Russia. Peter is going to go... He could get a religion early on, and that's pretty much all he can do for science. Cross-culture dialogue is really, really good, though. So because of that, I will put him in the C tier. I'll put him right under Pericles, I think, because cross-culture dialogue will give you science for every 4 followers, and with Peter, you can easily spread your religion with your Lavra's high faith output, and pretty much just awesome mustache. Next up, we're going to go with Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan pretty much has no bonuses towards science, I don't think. No, he doesn't. Because of that, he's going to go in the E tier. E tier, these guys all have no bonuses towards science whatsoever, so the placement doesn't really matter. They're all in the same playing field, everybody in the E tier. Next up, we got Cyrus. Cyrus, again, falls in the same boat. No bonuses towards science whatsoever. Paradises and Trade Routes giving you culture, though, does give you a little bit of a boost trying to get communism earlier than usual. Because of that, I think we'll put him in the super, super high D tier. Again, he's not as good as Mali being able to buy libraries pretty much in every city, but you know what, because of that, she should probably be ahead of Gorgo a little bit. Yeah, but I mean, aside from that, like, he really, like, Paradoxa, the culture isn't really as consistent as Gorgo's culture from killing barbarians, and also her Acropolis, so Cyrus is going to be high D tier. Next up, we got Wilford Laurier of Canada. Not being able to get declared war on is fine, but aside from that, he really has no bonuses. Tundra farms, I mean, you're pretty much just making Tundra livable. It isn't really too big of a bonus for science. So let's go ahead and put him in the E tier again. No bonuses towards science, really nothing. So yeah, I guess getting not declared war on early will help you not build a military. But aside from that, really nothing really to help him. Next, we got Poundmaker. Poundmaker gets really nice bonuses from food and production with his unique improvement, and he also gets shared visibility alliances, and he does want to make he gets extra alliance points, so I guess that alone puts him in the C tier. I'll actually put him right above Minotaur. You know what? Right above China. His unique improvement is no joke, not to mention that also being able to get extra alliance points will allow you to get more Eurekas over the course of the game as you get more advanced levels of your pretty much research alliance you're going to be getting in every game. So yeah, for science victory, he'll be right under Black Queen Catherine, but he'll be right above China. Next up, we got Eleanor of France. Again, the only saving grace she has, I guess, is culture to get communism earlier on, so I will put her above Tamar, Suleiman, but really no more. I mean, it's potential culture. Her chateaus, actually, chateaus pretty nice. I think chateaus aren't as reliable as culture from trade routes, but I do like it better than the one science Zulu gets. So we'll put her up there. Again, really, it's not a lot. Culture helping you get communism. It's kind of like a weird sort of. Technically, she's better at science because of that. That's pretty much what the D tier is for. After that, we got Eleanor of England. Still don't know why there's two Eleanors. Maybe the dude who made this was just kind of in a how do I say this horny state pretty much while making this, and he just like decided to put two Eleanors for some reason. I don't know, but she really has no bonuses either towards science. She gets more coal for coal power plants because she's England, so I guess that and the culture bonus she does. Well, she doesn't have chateaus. We'll put her in the D tier. The production bonus is nice, but it's not as good as Chandragupta's Stepwell bonus or India's Stepwell bonus in general. So we'll put her right under Chandragupta. Again, just extra coal mines, more coal power plants will help you on later game, but really that's kind of like, well, technically, blah, blah, blah. It's not really that good. After that, we got Brazil. Brazil's going in the A tier somewhere. Don't know exactly where. He gets extra adjacency from rainforests, and pretty much he can get a lot of great people points very quickly. Because of that, I think I'll put him right under Bulmus Teddy. I do like Bulmus Teddy's early game science output. In fact, I do like it a little better than Wilhelmina's science. You know what? Wilhelmina's rivers thing is pretty nice, especially near mountains. And she also gets that for industrial zones as well. But yeah, Brazil, extra great people. Extra 0.5 adjacency for campuses near rainforests. Need I say more? Very, very good. Not top tier exactly, but he's pretty damn close. After that, we got Katarja, who doesn't have bonuses towards a science victory either, I don't think. She does have her unique C improvement, which gives her food and production, I think. I haven't played her in a while. I don't think I played her since Rise and Fall came out, if I'm being honest. Gotta go for a Katarja game. But if what I'm thinking is correct, I am going to put her in. Her unique improvement is better than Gandhi's. I would rather get the 2 great scientist points from Judriga, though. So I'll put her right under Judriga. Next up, we got the Mapuche. Mapuche, again, don't really get any bonuses towards science whatsoever. They get culture and combat experience from the governors. Do they get science from that? I don't think they do. But again, the Malone Rider's not going to help you. Your unique improvement's not going to help you. I guess we'll put him in the... He's not as good as any of these guys. I'll put him right under Katarja, I think. Does he really have any bonuses towards science, though? Hold on. Okay, I checked it out. It's apparently 5% production and culture. Where'd I put him? Oh, no, there he is. So because it's 5% production and that's tripled in conquered cities, I will put him in the low B tier. Production is very important, and getting an easy 15% production in your conquered cities is pretty nice, especially if it is a conquered capital. Other than that, though, he really doesn't have anything too great, so he's in the good, not great B tier. After that, Christina really gets no bonuses towards science whatsoever. She doesn't have a debuff, I don't think. She gets the Nobel Prize, but that's really like you might win it, you might not. Pretty much everybody gets the Nobel Prize, if you know what I mean. I think you would do. So I'll put her in the E tier. Again, the Nobel Prize, everybody's going to get a shot at it, so it isn't anything too, it's not really a bonus or anything. She does get bonuses towards great engineers, though. You know what? That's probably good enough for the detail. Put her right above Suleiman. Put her right under Suleiman. He's got the bazaar and the amenities. Next up, we got Dido. Dido, again, nothing. Extra settler production is fine, but she's just going to be in the E tier. Really nothing too crazy. Tamiris really doesn't have anything either for science. Again, E tier again. Philip does have his missions, which is actually pretty damn decent. And he also gets triple... production science, I think he gets triple yields from trade routes on other continents. So that is enough to put him in the low B tier because of that. I did almost win a turn 260 victory with him science-wise until Scourge of the Earth, otherwise known as Poundmaker, literally won a culture victory one turn. But go check out my Spain game. It was crazy. Next up, we got Harold. Harold, I think, is going to go in the C tier. He could pillage and get science. Other than that, though, late game, he's not going to have any production bonuses. And if he's not able to conquer any early game cities, really all he's going to be is pillaging everything. I'll put him right above Catherine, I think, because if he could pillage the entire game, you can get a lot of science that way. It's pretty damn nice with Norway. Next up, we got Saladin. Saladin does have bonuses towards science and an extra 10% bonus towards science in cities with his warship building. Because of that, I'll put him in the high-ish B tier. I'll put him right above Alexander. It's pretty much kind of like Alexander's. You know what? It's probably better. It's not as good as Gilgamesh's ability. The ziggurats are too good, but Saladin, pretty nice at a science victory. The fact that you get 10% of your faith, or 10% bonus towards science in cities with worship buildings, and also science, I think, for every city following your religion, and getting an early religion for cross-culture dialogue is pretty nice for Saladin. After that, we got Victoria of England. Victoria, no bonus. Again, pretty much this England right over here. She has the red coat infantry. That's not going to help her, but she pretty much extra coal from extra coal power plants, which is like a little bit more production in a game than you would usually get. So I guess we'll put her over there. Next up, we got Lady Six Guys. Six Guys. We'll put her right up there in the S tier. I'm going to put her right under John Curtin, just because of her start position early on. She's not going to have too many mountains. She doesn't get adjacency from mountains, and I guess she'd get actually bonuses towards getting industrial zones, but yeah, she's good. I'd rather have John Curtin for a science victory. Observatories are nice. It's just she gets off to such a slow start with no housing early on. It really does get rough until you can get your first few builders in her cities. After that, we got the Grand Colombians. Grand Colombia, I'm going to, again, no bonuses whatsoever. The Hacienda gives you food, production, and gold, so technically he'd be D tier. I'll put him in the low C tier because Haciendas are that good of a unique ability. I'll put him right under Gorgo. Just all that production, gold, and food you'd be getting, and housing. Just the best unique tile improvement in the game, in my opinion. We already did Eleanor of England. We're not going to do her again. Menelik actually gets a 15% of his faith is transferred to science. So because of that, we'll put him in the B tier. We'll put him right above Jfahrman, I think. The fact that you get 15% of your faith with science, along with maybe the secret societies if you want, is pretty damn nice, and it's pretty much his only ability. After that, Catherine Magnificence is going to go in the D tier, I guess, probably right near French Eleanor. She doesn't have the Spy of Black Queen, but she does have early culture for early communism. Talked about it already, so I won't go too in-depth, but communism equals science GG. After that, Rough Rider Teddy, he loses the science ability Bulmus Teddy has. Because of that, I'm going to put him in the E tier. Really nothing in the way of science for Rough Rider Teddy. Next up, we got Basil. Basil, again, nothing in the way of science, nothing with housing, nothing with growth. I guess the Hippodrome is fine. We'll put him right above Tamar because the Hippodrome gives you extra amenities, which is like 5% science if you get it high enough. But yeah, nothing too crazy for Basil. Next up, we got Ambiorix. Ambiorix, the fact that you can get apprenticeship early on and get really nice early industrial zones, and all the culture you're going to be getting does help you with communism, technically. So we'll probably put him right below Victoria, I think. He has some, again, don't take this as sort of he's bad, but he doesn't have any bonuses towards science. Not too many civs do, and his kind of pseudo bonus, getting culture and getting industrial zones earlier on, are decently helpful. Actually, they're actually pretty helpful. Getting early campuses is pretty nice. We'll put him, actually, I think, right above Peter. Yeah, I'll be in the C tier. Decent bonuses, but nothing too crazy. Hammurabi, it's going to surprise some of you, but Hammurabi is going to go in the C tier, in my opinion. Where'd I put him? Okay, there he is. We'll put him in the C tier. We'll put him in the high C tier under Harold. Again, he could get early. The negative 50% science boost is going to be crippling late game. Aside from that, though, you can get some nice early universities and libraries to help make up for that. But yeah, the fact that you get negative 50% bonus towards science, it's pretty damn bad in my opinion. Next up, we got Vietnam. Vietnam is, again, I'll put her in actually the low B tier. Might be surprising, but the fact that you can just put her on top of marshes in order for you to get more science with her districts is pretty nice, and obviously culture equals communism equals science game GG. Next up, we got both Kublai Khans. This guy pretty much plays the same as China, except he doesn't get the extra builder charge. So I'll put him in the low C tier, probably right under Gorgo. He's not too crazy. And then we got Kublai Khan Mongolia, who literally gets no bonuses, so he's going in the E tier. Kublai Khan China is a little bit better. He's in the C tier because of the fact that China does get the bonus towards Eurekas, and when you build a wonder, you get extra bonus towards extra Eurekas. So that's the only reason he's really C tier. And finally, we have Zhao the Conqueror. He is actually going to go in the A tier. We'll put him last in the A tier. The reason he's that high is because of the fact that trade routes will give you an immense amount of science in the right type of map, and production, and gold. Pretty much everything you need for a science victory. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be it. If you guys have enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash those buttons, obviously after asking for their consent first. And yeah, let me know what tier list you guys want to see next. I'm having a lot of fun making these, and you guys are seeming to have a lot of fun watching these. And without further ado, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.